The Brill Building era, epitomized by professional songwriting teams like Jerry Goffin and Carole King, had given way to the Beatles. That led to the rock era, and I was fortunate enough to have lived my peak music-loving years during the glorious 70s and 80s up through the 90s with Nirvana and grunge. For me, rock came to a spectacularly violent end on April 5, 1994, although Kurt Cobain's body wasn't discovered until 3 days later. By that point, I'd mostly moved on to drum and bass, the Chemical Brothers, Fatboy Slim, then to techno and EDM. Otherwise, I listened to hip-hop, but only on my headphones. You couldn't spin that stuff around kids, and my wife hated the misogyny. Around the time I stopped listening to rock, I began playing it. I rediscovered my teenage love of the guitar, and when the boy came along, I gave him the gift of rock. By the age of 3, he had been treated to any number of intimate, unplugged concerts featuring me performing the folk and rock canon during bath and bedtime. Why couldn't my dad have been this cool? Yet, the little gentleman showed an unnatural lack of affection for my music. "Don't play," he'd say whenever I reached for my instrument. He'd leave the room when Knockin' on Heaven's Door came around again. In his displeasure with my music, he reminded me of my dad. And now, age 10, the tables were turned, and for the first time, I was treated to a full blast of his music, rudely shaking me from my long rock slumber. The songs in the car weren't soulful ballads played by the singer-songwriter. They were industrial-strength products, made for malls, stadiums, airports, casinos, gyms, and the Super Bowl halftime show. The music reminded me a little of the bubblegum pop of my preteen years, but it was vodka-flavored and laced with MDMA. It doesn't taste like sugar. It is teen pop for adults. Like the Brill Building songs of my youth, the hits on the radio are once again manufactured by songwriting pros. The hitmakers aren't on the same team, but they collaborate and work independently for the same few A-list artists. Collectively, they constitute a virtual Brill Building, the place where record men go when they have to have a hit. The Song Machine. Musically, the Song Machine makes two types of hits. One branch is descended from Europop, and the other from R&B. The former has longer, more progressive melodies and a sharper verse-chorus differentiation, and they seem more meticulously crafted. The latter have a rhythmic groove with a melodic hook on top that repeats throughout the song. But these templates are endlessly recombined, and the line between pop and urban is as blurry as it was in the 50s when the record business was in its infancy, and the distinctions between R&B and pop were still fluid. Sam Smith, Hozier, and Iggy Azalea are all white artists with a black sound. Phil Spector, an early master at mixing R&B and pop, required dozens of session musicians to build his famous wall of sound. CHR hitmakers can make all the sounds they need with musical software and samples. No instruments required. This is democratizing, but it also feels a little like cheating. By employing technologically advanced equipment and digital compression techniques, these hitmakers create sounds that are more sonically engaging and powerful than even the most skilled instrumentalists can produce. And it's so easy. You want the string section from Abbey Road on your record? You just punch it up. Whole subcultures of musical professionals, engineers, arrangers, session musicians are disappearing, unable to compete with the software that automates their work. Some instrumental sounds are based on samples of actual instruments, but they are no longer recognizable as such. And the electronic atmosphere and the dynamic changes in the density of the sound are more captivating than the virtuosity of the musicians. The computer is felt in the instrumentation, the cut-and-paste architecture, and in the rigorous perfection of timing and pitch. Call it robopop. Melodies are fragmentary and appear in strong, short bursts, like espresso shots served throughout the song by a producer barista. Then, slicing through the thunderous algorithms like Tennyson's Eagle, and like a thunderbolt he falls, comes the hook, a short, sung line that grips the rhythm with melodic talons and soars skyward. The songs bristle with hooks, painstakingly crafted to tweak the brain's delight in melody, rhythm, and repetition. The artists occupy a central place in the songs, but more as vocal personalities than singers. The voices belong to real human beings, for the most part, although in some cases the vocals are so decked out in electronic finery that it doesn't matter whether a human or a machine made them. On sheer vocal ability, the new artists fall short of the pop divas of the early 90s. Whitney, Mariah, Celine. And who are these artists?